Now, one of the cool things that this lets us do is to round a number to a fraction with a given denominator. Okay, this seems like a weird move to make. Let's take a minute to motivate this. Let's say I just did some arithmetic, and it says I need to cut a piece of string that's 12 4/7 of an inch long. So I go and get my ruler, and I look at how my ruler divides up an inch. All right, so it looks like my big mark splits each inch into 2 equal parts. And then these little marks in between, well, then I get 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, taking those into account. The next one's smaller. If I take those into account, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. And if I take all of the marks into account, I'm not going to count them out loud. You can pause the video and count them out. But I get 16 parts, and that makes sense. I cut each eighth in 2, right? 8 times 2 is 16. I haven't got any sevenths. You're not going to find a ruler that shows sevenths of an inch. So what I really want to do, cutting 16ths of an inch looks a little bit fiddly too. And my string is a little bit stretchy. I think what I want to do, I want to round my 12 4/7 to the nearest eighth. In general, I want to round this fraction that I can't measure conveniently to a fraction that I can measure conveniently. So how would we go about this? Well, we know how to write 12 4/7 as a number of eighths. So I have 12 4/7 over 1 is equal to some unknown number of eighths. So 12 4/7 times 8 is going to be 1 times my x. And again, multiplying by 1 doesn't do anything. So that's just my x. Minor disadvantage, I have to multiply 12 4/7 times 8. So 12 4/7, well, that's going to be some number of sevenths. How many? Well, 12 whole things each get cut into 7 equal parts. Add in the 4/7 I started with. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. Add in the 4/7 that I started with, and I get 88 sevenths. So I have 88 sevenths times 8 wholes. 88 times 8 over 7. 7 is not a factor of either one of these, so there's really no way we can simplify. 88 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 8 is still 64. 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. So I have 704 sevenths. My x is 704 sevenths. That is, my 12 4/7 is equal to 704 sevenths over 8. Okay, how does that help me round to the nearest eighth? Well, this is some number of eighths. I'd like to have a whole number of eighths. I want to round my 704 sevenths to the nearest whole number. How do I round something to the nearest whole number again? Well, first I need to know what whole numbers it's in between. And in order to do that, well, gosh, I'm going to have to write that as a mixed number. So I want to divide 7 into 704. If you already know the answer to this, go for it. 7 goes into 7 once. I brought down the 0, so I need to write a digit above this 0. 7 goes into 0 no times. If I want to skip this and just bring the 4 straight down, that's fine too. 7 goes into 4, again, no times. But I brought down the 4, so I have to write a digit above it, and that digit's also going to be 0. And I have 4 left over. So 100 whole things and 4/7. That's between 100 and what's next? Yeah, 101. We are 4/7 away from 100. And we are 7/7 minus 4/7 is 3/7 away from 101. This distance is smaller. We're closer to 101. So we round to 101. Right? And then step 3, answer. Right? So let's see. Our 12 and 4/7, we rounded it. That's about 101/8. You know, I suspect we're in an environment where mixed numbers make sense. So let's make this into a mixed number. 8 goes into 101. 8 goes into 1? No. It goes into 10 once. 8 goes into 21 twice. 5 left over, right? So this is 12 and 5/8. Notice the whole number part didn't change. That's usually going to be the case. So again, this is a useful technique if we want to measure, and we're using measuring instruments that are marked in a certain way. Let me give you one of these to try. Round the number 6.28 to the nearest sixth. Answer is a mixed number with 6 in the denominator. So even if your answer has 6 in the denominator and could simplify, leave the denominator as 6. Pause the video and try this now. Okay, so my first move is to write 6.28 with denominator 6. 6.28 over 1 equals something over 6. Now I look at the cross products. Let's see. I'll have 6.28 times 6. And that'll be equal to 1 times my unknown number. So just equal to my unknown number. I better do this multiplication. 6.28 times 6. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 2 is 12. 13, 14, 15, 16. 6 times 6 is 36. 37. And I want to have 1, 2 digits after the decimal point in my answer, right? 2 from this number, none from this number. So right there. So my unknown number is 37.68. That is 6.28 is equal to 37.68 sixths. Now I round the new number to the nearest whole number. This is a little bit easier, right? Because this is a decimal. 37.68 is between 37 and 38. This is a decimal, so I can just round it like a whole number, right? Next digit is a 6. We're closer to 38. So now I'm going to answer. My 6.28 is about equal to 38 sixths. Or let's divide, right, because we want to answer as a mixed number. 6 goes into 3, no. 6 goes into 38 6 times, because 6 times 6 is 36. So I've got 2 left over. That's 6 whole things and 2/6 left over. I could simplify this, but the instructions explicitly tell me not to. 6.28 rounded to the nearest sixth is 6 2/6.